Yeah, let me medicate. I need something to get me in the right place of mind. No snakes hanging around any place of mine. I'm trying to build an empire, we in two different states of mind. I'm trying to escape the confines of my city limits, but shit get risky as making one of these shorties and misses. Gotta keep a low profile nowadays, I'm staying out the way. You single niggas following with these low rates of retention, jumping at the first chance you get cause she showed you some attention. I love this life out the spotlight.
Sponsors, Boss Chicken Beer. We're located down the street from the Browns practice facility in Berea, Ohio. This is not the only location of Boss Chicken Beer. You can find our locations in Bay Village, North Akron, Parma, where we have the #1 chicken wings in all of Northeast Ohio. Welcome to a very special and important edition of Lab Rats and Loaded Minds. I'm Aubrey Ward Jr.
I'm Twine Jr.
And today we have NFL vet, retired from the NFL after 5 years in the league, splitting some time with the Bears, spending most of his time with the Bengals, and doing welcome back home pretty much. He went to the Washington Commanders, where he's from, Maryland. So today we have a big time, I want to say big brother to me when I met him. He was at the Ohio State University. The Ohio State University, and then finished off his college career at Maryland, which is, we don't shine upon Maryland. We love the Big Ten, and this is very important because he started a nonprofit called Everyday an Episode, where he focuses on mental health, and he's now a mental health advocate, Keandre Jones.
Appreciate having you on, bro.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about the DMV.
Yeah.
Growing up in the DMV, you attended Our Lady of Good Counsel.
For sure.
And then you went to college prep, I believe, college prep route. And I want to say Stephon Diggs went to the same high school or prep school?
Yes. So Good Counsel is a Catholic school out in Maryland. One of the top, I might be biased, high schools in the country, but we are usually top 25 in the country. Other than Stephon Diggs, we have guys like Dorian O'Daniel, Sam Mustipher, Cam Hart that played last night against who was playing KC, Kansas City. So those are just name drop a few, but we have a lot of great talent at Good Counsel High School in Maryland. Yeah.
I saw Kendall Fuller went there too.
Kendall Fuller too, yeah, Kendall Fuller. So if I forgot any of my guys, just know there's so much talent that comes through those hard ways, including myself. I was blessed to be able to attend a private school like that.
Yeah, so definitely we want to get into, we could go back to childhood, but what got you into football? And then definitely you can speak again on just like, because I think Diggs, those guys, some of those guys were there before you, and then maybe some after you. Just talk about like going to that school and the legacy of playing for that school, and then like what got you into football. It could be like a player, a family member that introduced you to the game. So what brought you, to high school at least to play football?
I think a lot of people don't know, but I started playing football when I was in 4th grade, and just took a liking to it because I was one of those kids that always had problems as far as with my behavior. So my mom figured it would be an outlet for her son to go ahead and play tackle football. And prep, I was doing the flag football way before in like 3rd grade. So that was an exciting time when my mom gave me the green light. It was like, no, I'm going to put you in football. And that's where I created kind of like that discipline and structure that I needed, those role models. And it was an exciting time. I'm still loving the game to this day. So 10 years old is when I started.
And then I don't know if were you recruited to go to this prep school? Do you have any friends or anybody that was around the area?
Yeah, so at the time coming out of middle school, I was getting recruited by multiple high schools throughout the area. To name a few, our conference is called the WCAC, and that's why I was talking about how important our high school is, Good Counsel, because we have teams like the Mather, who's produced multiple NFL talent, St. John's, Gonzaga. That was just named the top schools in the conference. But Yeah, I think what drove me towards good counsel was guys like Stephon Diggs, who was a household name in Maryland. You also have Lou Young, who's transitioned from NFL to comedian, entrepreneur. So guys like that kind of influenced my decision. Hey, I want to be as elite as those guys and not to leave out anyone, like I said. So forgive me to all my brothers that are playing in NFL or in college right now. I definitely don't want to, forget about you.
Hey, Uncle Lou, man, come get on the pod. Hey, Lou, come get on the pod.
Yes,
man.
yes.
We'll take you, man. Let's, we said the Ohio State in the beginning.
Yeah.
Man. Let's speak on the journey getting to the Ohio State. I wanted you to touch on like that brotherhood because you completed your years there before you left.
Absolutely.
So speak on that brotherhood there and like what it means to play for Ohio State.
I can remember just getting recruited out of good counsel to come to Ohio State, and Urban Meyer came up to my house, and at the time, a lot of people probably don't know this also, but I lived with multiple families just to pursue football. I kind of compare it to the blind side just because I stayed with multiple families. My mom was always in the picture, but I knew the sacrifices I had to make in order to play at the highest level. So I was out the house at 12 years old, living with 7 different families. Shout out to the Ashleys, shout out to the Strip Matters, shout out to the Vances. Each individual family helped me get to where I'm at today, besides making it to college. But that recruitment was just like how I was getting recruited going to high school. It was funny because once I got on campus, that was my first time really settled in Ohio. And I didn't really know how big the brand Ohio State was at the time. So this was a shocker to me how influential Ohio State has been on like the country.
Right.
You could be anywhere traveling, hit that OH, and somebody gonna follow up with the IO. So that let me know right away that this was bigger than just football. Like people take football in Ohio pretty serious. Just like any SEC, Alabama, Florida's, I say we can compete with anybody.
I feel like Big Ten is like maybe I think the best conference. I don't know if that's biased or not, but I believe that Big Ten.
Nah, you correct.
Yeah,
that's the best ball right there.
It's definitely better. You got the Midwest. You got like
top to bottom. Top to bottom, I feel like SEC is more top heavy. Just in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know I can come
like
top
to bottom.
Top
Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State, Michigan. Yeah. Michigan State had its run for a couple years.
Yes.
You got a lot of schools where, especially like Iowa is one of those schools where when you go play in Iowa, you in for a game, and it's gonna be one of them tough games.
For sure.
You got to tackle in the box. It's gonna be. It might be cold too. So no, Big Ten football definitely. I'm gonna put that up there above SEC. Biased, unbiased, whatever you want to say.
And then what makes it worse is the Big Ten expanded now.
Yeah.
Like having USC in
USC, UCLA.
Oh, man, like it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
Oregon. I forgot about Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. Oregon too.
It's just too. It's at this point you might as well say, hey, it's the best conference. Honestly, that's top teams right there.
And
top teams.
we just talking. If we talking just ball, I would definitely say we can compete with the SEC. That's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Big Ten is no slouch. You're not just gonna come in there and just do whatever you want. We are somebody that competes, especially programs like Ohio State. And even further back, me transferring from O State to Maryland, I just knew I wanted to stay in this division of, running the ball, physicalness, and showing people that, this is a tough conference. No matter what team you're playing, like you mentioned, Iowa, you go in there any Saturday, you bound to have to bring your A game. Purdue at times, and these are schools that I know when I was at Ohio State gave us good bump.
And you mentioned, going back to Maryland. Obviously, where you're from, I feel like we talked about before on previous episodes, playing for your hometown team.
Yeah.
Playing for your hometown team twice in your career is you like less than 0.01.
Yeah.
0.01%. So talk about that decision to go back to Maryland to finish out your collegiate playing career.
So, at a time where I thought my career was coming to an end and closing because of me being released. I think it was like the 4th time I had been released from the NFL. I had spent 7 months out of playing football. For the first time in my life, I didn't have football. So during those 7 months, I had time to kind of reinvent myself and understand, hey, I'm passionate about helping out others. So I developed a program called Everyday Episode, which is my nonprofit that focuses on mentorship. And as you mentioned in the beginning, I'm big on mental health. So during that process of me giving back to my community and focusing on youth development, I got a couple calls. And believe it or not, I had a workout with the Dallas Cowboys, me being from Maryland and Washington, D.C., and the headspace I was in, I told my agent, I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm good right now. I'm going to wait it out, see if I get another call. And by God's grace, I eventually got another call. And this time, it was my hometown team, well, with a close hometown, Washington, D.C., the Commanders, which was so surreal because my favorite player is Sean Taylor. R.I.P. to Sean. Somebody that I just seen play the game really aggressive and physical and kind of like let his play do the talking. So going back to Ohio State, even though I was never like a starter, I knew I can contribute to the team through like special teams. That's why I try to preach to the youth. The only way you make it in the league or in if you're not a contributor on starter, you have to play special teams. That's how I lasted 5 years. So me getting that call to come to Washington Commanders, they had to see something that I did throughout my years being on the Bengals from a special team standpoint, because I was never a starter and I always got released. I never made a 53-man roster, ever. And I also, people don't know this, but I got cut 5 times. We didn't have no preseason coming out during COVID. I didn't have combine, no pro day. My pro day got canceled. So I had already been through the ringer of, as you would call it, losses. So me getting the call to come back home to Washington Commanders, it was like, what do I have to lose by taking this opportunity? It's just unfortunate in sports you get injured. So I had pulled my hamstring when we were scrimmaging down Miami. For whatever reason, I had never been injured. I've been hurt. You can play hurt, but you can't, once you get injured, you sideline.
Especially soft tissue, too.
Soft tissue,
hamstrings, probably up there at the top. In terms of them soft tissue injuries that are lingering injuries, too. You're not just going to get rid of it.
Nah, you can't, you're not. My first one, so long story, man, just had the opportunity to go to the Commanders and pull my hamstring, and that was kind of the end of my journey far as with the NFL, because it's been over a year, but I'm at peace because I'm fulfilled knowing that I gave so much to the game of football. And I tell people I owe football nothing, football owes me nothing, and I owe football everything. That's what I tell people, so I'm grateful for it.
I mean, you made it to the top level. You were part of that 1%, less than 1% of people that have played in the NFL. And it's not like you've never played in the game.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's just a culmination of all your hard work over the years that you put in. But I definitely want to go back again to leaving Ohio State and then going to play for Maryland, too.
Yeah.
Talk us through, like, that process of deciding that was going to be, how you finished your collegiate career. And then, again, just talking about playing for the University of Maryland, like, that's your hometown again. So that's the first time you played for your hometown team. So just talk about, playing. I know you had a lot of family that probably came to the game.
Yeah. That experience going back home to Maryland was probably one of the best feelings, because for the first time I got to showcase knowing how talented the players at Ohio State were. We had, out of that linebacker room, and y'all just interviewed Jerome Baker, like, we had Malik Harrison, we had Baron Browning, we had Tuff Borland, we had Chris Worley, we had all these dogs, Raekwon McMillan, like.
All of them played in the NFL.
So I tell people, I say, out of my freshman class, if we just go back to my freshman class, 2016, it was about 25 of us that came in. I want to say, this is off record, like 20 of us had the opportunity to at least try out for an NFL team. That's my freshman class. That's not even the guys that we put into the Ohio State league. But going back home to Maryland, man, it was my first opportunity to showcase, like, nah, I can't play this sport that I've known to play for so long, and I've been one of those guys that I'm not gonna just talk about. I'm gonna just, you put me anywhere on the football field, and I'm gonna showcase what I can do. Yeah. And I didn't play my linebacker position. Yeah. So if you look back, they put me at like a rush in. Yeah. but I try to tell players, I say, if you're a true football player, you gonna make plays. Yeah. And that's what I did during my senior season. Was I happy that I wasn't able to play linebacker? Yeah, you can say I probably wasn't, but I wouldn't show it because at the end of the day, I'm gifted with an opportunity. Coach Loxley, the head coach, that he gave me an opportunity to come back. And what was great about me and Coach Loxley is I went to school with his daughter, played against his son. So I had this relationship, right? But he also made me earn every rep. He didn't hand me anything. And I was still playing special teams too. Wow, I was a starter on defense. I was on at least two special teams, punt and kickoff. So it's kudos to Coach Loxley for giving me a chance to show that I could play this sport and not give up on my dream of trying to make it to the NFL, because we was talking off camera, like it was that close. You know, who's to say I transferred to Maryland and this, you know, we sitting here today talking about a 5-year career. So
shout out to our partner, Stack Good Days. Want to give y'all another chance to have access to a special code, LRLM10, to use on the website for any purchase of the apparel. Definitely, I know a lot of y'all need some new drip, t-shirts, sweatshirts, sweatpants, you name it. They got it. Definitely shout out to the Stack Good Days family, and let's keep stacking.
So let's talk about being undrafted.
Yeah.
You know, like I said at the beginning, you were with the Bears, but you spent most of your time with the Bengals. So how was that, being with the Bengals and going through that Super Bowl run? You know, that Super Bowl run team. That was one of a kind right there.
Yeah.
Like, to get those rookies come in that fast and flip it over like that and be a part of that team. So let's speak a little bit about that season if you can.
Yeah, when I speak about the Super Bowl, that kind of sums up my football career in a sense, because I've always been in programs where we won. So if you somebody who's been in programs who win, you expect to win. And in life, I've also taken losses too, right? So it's one of those things where you never get too high, you never get too low. I feel like we deserved it because it was 30 years before the Bengals won a playoff game. Right. And I tell people, I say, if you want to win, you know, just have me in your locker room, have me on your team. Because everywhere I've been, whether I'm the starter or not, I feel like I contribute in a sense of to building up a team with that chemistry, and good luck. Yeah. You know, we positioned ourselves well enough to where we broke that 30-year run, got to go to the Super Bowl, and one of the highlights was having my mother. I just spoke about this recently, having my mother front row at the Super Bowl, and kind of like that was my thank you. Like, thanks, Ma, for everything you did. For the sacrifice. So if I can look back, I wasn't as present as I wanted to be because I was going through off the field things that people couldn't see. Yeah. So during that Super Bowl run, I had to go bury one of my close friends. His name was Brian Stripmatter, and I ended up giving the AFC Championship jersey to the family in remembrance. And people don't know a jersey costs about $600. So Brian was always on me like, Key, I need that jersey. And he actually came to that playoff game where we won. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see us make it to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship and stuff. But that was like one of the moments where I was like, it's bigger than football. Yeah. I'm over here playing this game, and I just lost one of my close friends. So when I reflect back on that Super Bowl run, it's like great accomplishment, but I'm even more fulfilled knowing that I was able to live out other people's dreams, whether it was my mom or the families that helped me or my friends. It was in that moment where I was like, you know what? 2 years later, I can reflect and look back and say, I did that. Yeah, you know? It all makes sense, you know?
So let's talk real quick about your decision to become a mental health advocate. What led you to want to get in that profession?
I would say mental health is something that we all deal with, but it's silent because, especially as black men, we don't really speak up on it enough, and that can be contributed to society, kind of like not allowing us the space or opportunity to talk about certain things, whether, especially as emotions, we're not as emotional as we should be. A lot of us wear our hearts on our sleeves, so we act out in anger or frustration or whatever that case is. We turn to substance abuse or whatever the case is. And for me, it's just when I got to Ohio State, I realized, I was like, man, like, why am I feeling a certain way being away from home, right? And the number one person you talk to the most is yourself. And I was at Ohio State just like, why am I feeling, anxious? Why am I feeling anxiety or whatever the case was? I started learning these terms. And then while I was at Ohio State, we created a group called Redefine Athletic Standards, an organization in 2017 that's still there today in 2025. It was a space kind of like how we're doing right now to talk about your issues, whether it was finances, relationships, career. And that kind of led me down the path of, hey, I'm going to make sure if I have the opportunity, I'm going to build something that's going to outlast me. So that's where that's where I came up with the idea of everyday episode, because every day is challenging. Every day is a chance for you to tell your story. And now I get to tell my story through my lenses, through my words, through my experiences, and I get to bring other people's stories along too. So now it's like meeting you is now like we're a part of each other's stories. And it's our job to continue to tell not just others, but your story. What's your story? And being in my program, doing workshops, camps, I've seen the impact and influence I have as an athlete. And then also just being a good human. That's what I preach on a lot, just being a good human.
Yeah, so I want to congratulate you. I see you got your first award for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the Catalyst Award?
Yeah, Catalyst Award. I won the Catalyst Award with an organization I actually started partnering with last year called Black Art Speaks. The CEO is Alanis Powell, who's so influential on my career outside of sports. She met me at a time where I was transitioning and trying to figure out, okay, what's my next step? And she took me under my wing just like so many black women do. They want to cater and make sure that you're good as a black man and that they see you. And I've had so many mentors and older generation do that for me. It's a village. It takes a village. But winning that award, I would say this: it's great winning awards, but it's even better making sure that you actually are doing the work. Because at the end of the day, that award wasn't for me. That was because of the families that helped me. My mom, the NFL, like going to college. I didn't do this by myself. And even though I was the one that received the award, I just want to let people know when you do receive awards, just make sure you're going back and you thanking the ones that put you in that position to do what you're doing. So yeah, that was a cool time. But I like I said, never get too high, never get too low. I'm grateful for the award, but I know it's so much more that we need to do as a society.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's amazing to hear somebody speak and not only be appreciative of everything, but also like I'm in a place right now where just being where my feet is at, and every step of the way it sounds like you just been where your feet is at, and I definitely want to just give you your flowers on that.
No doubt.
You know, we not done. I know we got some work.
No doubt.
Think about that here, how passionate you are. Like you definitely in the right place that you need to be. So definitely want to touch on too. Just you talk about that transition from sports to whatever that may be. I want you to talk about that especially again, we talked about it a little before we hopped on, but definitely speaking on just, finding the passions outside of your main thing. Again, I'm all for being where your feet are at. I'm all for keeping the main thing. However, your life just cannot all be football. There has to be other things that, your energy is being poured into, because again, talking to somebody that is a lover of basketball, I know for a fact that if I didn't have this or if I didn't have any other my other interests to, you know, take some of my energy away. I know the stuff that I'm doing with basketball, it just would not be, you know, peak. It'd be like, you're all right. So let's talk about that transition.
Yeah. So we all play sports. And the biggest thing is your identity is so wrapped up on trying to be this elite athlete. And for me, that's all that consumed my life. But the great thing about what I was doing, I applied everything I learned from football, from the discipline, the routine, the structure. I'm like, okay, I'm about to take what I know from football and just apply it to my life. So when I do volunteer stuff or when I live my life, like I still have a routine to where it's like a football schedule, but it's, you know, I'm not in the past no more. So I try to structure and make my life as less complicated as possible. So I just did things I loved, which was helping out others. That brought me joy personally. So for some other people, it might be gaming. You know what I'm saying? It might be traveling. You just got to figure out what are the things that you love, you know? And that kind of made the journey and the transition smoother for me because I was already doing these things since I was young. I mean, I've been reading to little kids when I was like in the 4th grade. I used to read to the kindergartners and stuff. And I can remember in middle school, I was always helping out with my coaches around the house, cleaning out the gutters or doing the lawn, or I was just a hustler. And that's another thing too. I felt like I've always had this hustling mentality to where even on being where my feet are, I'm gonna go get it. And that's the same thing about being at Ohio State. I knew somebody was gonna have to see how hard I've been hustling at some point. So by the time I transferred to Maryland, I always had this mindset of I'm gonna make it happen regardless. And I know it's gonna be difficult, but I'm not gonna let that handicap me to get to where I need to go. Because a lot of people, once you stop, especially once you see your friends drop off or your family members start to judge you and stuff, it gets tricky because now you lose relationships in the process of trying to be great. And honestly, you're gonna experience that regardless of how successful you're trying to get. It's on you to really establish, okay, this is my identity. That's the biggest thing. I kind of want to know what was y'all's transition from being, you know, athletes, and how have y'all kind of maneuvered or managed that now? Because I feel like we're all currently we're all around the same age of, you know, that in the 20s, where it's like we figuring it out. So what has that been like for y'all?
And before we answer though, I know we be saying it be, you know, whoever the guest is, we say it's our show, but you're the second person that asked us a question. We're gonna have to change these.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Dorian Beach out here in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's a realtor out here with EXP Realty. And if you need any real estate help, investments, he's your guy. We'll post his Instagram and all his pages down below. You should see it soon. And he's your man to make all your dreams come true. Hit him up and he can help you.
So pretty much, you know, just like you, I've been playing football since I want to say like 5.
Yeah.
And I wasn't good at 5, 6, 7. Maybe got decent at 8. So like you said, hustling. Like I'm at home, outside in the yard with my dad every day, catching the ball, doing something, running up and down the street, doing something to get better. So like at some point I'm like, I know this got to click for me. So like when you get good, I probably got good at about 7th, 6th, 7th grade, maybe 5th grade-ish. That's when I'm like, okay, I want to go to the NFL now. That's when the spark hit for me. I want to go to the biggest. What can we do? Can we go there? What's the highest thing I can do? So you start training yourself to want to become this player all the way up through high school and all the way through college until, like you said, you hit a point where you don't know if it's for you anymore. So when I hit that point, I was at one of my schools. School wasn't doing well. It was a startup. So football was canceling. We was canceling games and stuff. So I had to really rethink, like, is it for me right now? Like, I don't have to not play football. I can do it a different way.
Facts.
I can coach like I do now, or I can go play a little flag. You know, I can still be within the sport. So figuring that out was real hard for me, because then you giving up on something you love, something you've been trying to do your whole entire life. But it's just like trying to navigate and figure out like that next avenue for you, which brought me to this, the media stuff. I'm still doing what I love doing because I can talk about it and I can teach it and I can speak with people like you. You played in the league. I'm fulfilling a dream at the end of the day.
Facts.
Like, I was just on First Take. I fulfilled a dream. I'm doing it at the highest of the highs still. We might not be on the field, but I'm still doing it pertaining to what I love, which is sports. So, I mean, just figuring out once you hit that point that it's another way you can get to where you're trying to go. That was big for me. And like you said, that comes from just, I did a lot of paying attention in life, a lot of watching people go through certain things. Grew up around Jerome, seeing him make success. So we got to get it some way, somehow. You know, just that hustling aspect, like you said in the beginning, just being a constant person to want to figure it out and not get complacent, but you can still be where you want to, you know, let your sit down, you know, relax a little bit, let your feet lay here, like y'all said. Like, I'm cool with this podcast right now because eventually this gonna take off and do
For
something.
sure.
So
For sure.
I'm very happy that I was able to navigate out of the sport of football and not have to be on the field per se, because I'm still touching lives at the end of the day, one way or the other, if it's through talking or coaching.
You just turned me up. Just really you just turned up. Proud of you. What about you?
I feel like it's the same type of thing. I definitely attributed a lot to my family, especially my mom, just like introducing me to stuff early.
Yeah.
Like, she used to, when I played piano, you know, I wanted to play the drums, but she was like, you want to play the drums? You gotta play the piano first. I'm like, but at the time, you know, I was making that face, and now I'm definitely thankful that I got introduced, because like, I have definitely an interest in music. I also love video games. Like, that was my thing when I was a kid, still my thing now. Just all these other different things I was interested in and just got exposed to early. I feel like when I got to high school, like, growing up, I was always one of the best players on my team. When I got to high school, you know, that wasn't really the case. I think I was also beyond my years in terms of, especially my senior year, that was the first chance I got to play varsity.
Yeah.
But I was coming into a situation where we could have played 1 through 15. That didn't happen all the time because of the amount of time in the game, but like, John can speak to that. We could play 1 through 15 and be good. So, you know, learning how to play a different role, and then just dealing with the politics that comes with playing with sports too. I feel like that was my thing where I started to fall out in love with the game.
It get tricky.
And it got tricky for me. So, you know, didn't really have any crazy interest playing collegiate basketball, and that's when my mind kind of started drifting to other things. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to still be around the game, because I know, like, we talking about basketball minds, like, I'm up there. Like, a lot of people don't know that because I'm not, you know, big yet, but soon, then definitely know. So, I knew that my basketball mind was well enough to, you know, be a part of the NBA and be at that level at some point, whether that was a coach, player development coach, on the business side, like in operations. I just knew, you know, there was a future me in the NBA, and I knew I needed to go to a school that had a really good basketball program. So that's why I went to Xavier. And once I got to Xavier, you know, my freshman year, it was I wasn't really involved in anything besides I was a practice player for the women's team. But after that, I started getting involved in the clubs and leadership, and then continued to work for the basketball team. And I was like, okay, definitely, you know, I could definitely see myself doing this. And I was with the women's team and the men's team, so just working with both of them. And then my first job out of school was working with the Sixers G League. Once I got with the Sixers G League, and I've been telling this story a lot over this summer, meeting new people, like, I feel like I've had a pro career. Like, I went to high school, played in high school, went to college. I was hooping against these dudes that were playing on TV, as well as, you know, seeing them behind the scenes, as well as even on the women's side, like working with them in practices, traveling. I seen the college program, and then my first job out of school, I was with an NBA organization. It was the G League, still, it's an NBA organization. So first day of practice, I wore some type of shoes like this. I ain't bring any basketball shoes. I'm sitting there chilling, thinking, I got the towel. They like, oh no, you lacing up, you about to practice. So I'm practicing against these dudes, and that turned into everyday things. So
It was live.
When I think that was the first time where I was just like, man, like everything I did in my entire life led me to this point. I got to the NBA. I'm content. Like there's nothing else you can tell me. And then even just finishing this past year, again, like I think you spoke on it too when at Ohio State playing special teams, and even at Maryland playing special teams in the starter. I think for the youth, a lot of them don't understand being a star in your role, and I think that's how you can really last in your passion. Like there are other ways to stick around football, stick around basketball. You just have to find out what that is.
Yeah.
And granted, that could come from exposure, that could come from putting yourself out there, being a hustler. However it is, I promise you there's a role for you, and you just gotta learn how to be a star in that. And that's, I feel like what I've done, I feel like that's what he done too. So I'm content where I'm at.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. I asked y'all that though. I know y'all interviewing me, but I think it's always good to just check in on your folks, especially because we haven't seen each other so long. It's like, what's up? Like, tell me about your story. Just that goes back to your story. Like, what is your story? It's hard to know somebody if you don't really know that they come from the same spaces as you. Naturally, as athletes, we kind of got similar stories, so.
Let's speak on like the empowerment of youth.
Yeah.
So, one good thing about our pod that we're trying to bring in, hopefully no one steals this from us too soon, but we got the high school. We got a high school series. So we focus on the NBA.
Okay.
And we focus on the NFL.
Yeah.
But we're also focusing on high schoolers now. We're integrating the high school into it. So the good thing about the high school part, we do it very interactive. So like we get them on the field. We ask them questions like, what you thinking when you do this?
Yeah.
What's your favorite drills you like doing? So like, we're gonna have more kids tuning in our stuff soon. So I want you to speak on just like the empowerment of youth.
Man, the empowerment of youth. They have to meet us. We have to meet them where they are, but they also have to be willing to listen. And that can be struggles at times because as a kid, you feel like you got all the answers. So you just gotta, both the adult and the kid have to be on the same page, but it's on the adult to make sure that they guiding the kid down the right path. A lot of the times, a lot of adults, teachers in general, because I'm back in the classroom, they not really aware what's going on social media. They're not aware of what's going on in these kids' lives. A lot of these kids are coming to school, they don't eat. A lot of these kids are coming from broken homes, so they don't sleep. A lot of these kids are going through challenges. So the only reason that I can relate is because I've been through each of these situations of losing people, of not being with my mom and sacrificing, living with different families, on, sometimes not having lights on, hot water, these things, being homeless, living in a shelter. I've done it. So it's not too many things that can surprise me when I'm interacting with these kids. It's not a story. Like, I can sympathize with them, but I'm also not gonna coddle them and let them, kind of like baby them. Because the world is not going to be baby us. Especially once you get to college, or say you don't go to college and you want to go to the military, some type of trade school. It's going to be challenging. So when they're in my workshops, the empowerment comes from letting these kids know this is real life. It's not going to be easy. I wish I can tell you it's easy, but it's not. Me playing in the NFL was not easy. Me going to college was not easy. Me attending private school, that was not easy. But how you do it is with community. So the empowerment comes from letting these kids know you have a coach. You have a teacher that cares about you. You have a mom that's working her butt off that cares about you. You have a dad that wants to be a part of your life, but some things are stopping that. So you have to be realistic and authentic with the kids to really get through to what you're the narrative that you're trying to push on them. Or they're not going to believe you. They're not going to trust you. And I would say the only reason I can relate to the kids is because I'm on social media. I done played at every level. I done lost at every level. I done lost in real life. I done lost close friends. Done lost my sister to gun violence. I done lost so many things. in life. So I'm just speaking from my experience. But with my experience, I'm only 27, but I done felt like I done lived like 3 lives. Yeah. So it comes from my wisdom. So that empowerment really just starts of knowing where these kids are coming from.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you don't got nothing else, I feel like we can end it there. That was great.
Yeah,
That's
great.
I get the rabbit, y'all. My fault. I get the rabbit because I'm passionate. I'm passionate.
I think we need, and definitely shout out to John. To just talk about, we were trying to do it in Vegas, but I'm glad that we are where we are now because we definitely need more. There can never be an oversaturation on older. I mean, but you could say black men, but just older people in general talking to younger people, especially like you said, like trying to meet them halfway and extending the hand out because some of them not gonna take it, and that's okay. But the ones that do, they really low value. They change their lives. Like I noticed that a lot this summer working with kids all summer and just meeting different kids from all across the world, and you just never know how much you're gonna impact a kid's life. Yeah. So definitely want to give you your flowers, man. I know. Again, you only 27, so there's so much far to go. But I mean, now we definitely locked in, so I'm gonna definitely be.
We locked in, y'all. Please do.
Sure.
I wish y'all could have caught me playing football, but it's all good.
On Instagram, spam, DM it just like, hey, Key, I'm going.
Yes.
Go crazy.
Yes, always showing love.
So, and I thank you, man, for coming on and
No
doing
doubt. No doubt.
I feel like me and him learned a lot today. I mean, like you said, we're all in that same age group.
Yep.
We're all still working with kids.
Yes.
Like he's training kids, hooping.
Yep.
I'm coaching in football.
Yep.
I'm coaching in track, still with kids. So like having you on, speaking to us, putting some more knowledge in us, and with you not even being that much older than us.
Yep.
That we can't do nothing but thank you for that. I mean,
for sure.
Honestly, they're gonna see it firsthand, and we hope that this pod right here today will have some effect on people in the future, and hopefully this helps change some more lives because you're doing great so far, bro. Yeah. And I gotta tell you that you're doing great, bro. We love what you're doing.
Proud of you, dog. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Lab Rats and Loaded Mons. I'm Aubrey Ward Jr. It's your favorite trainer and coach, Twan, and we got Keandre Jones. Thank you.